Things are about to get interesting on the flight deck of the USS Ronald Reagan. The airpack handling team, here to give the Reagan the go-ahead to launch and recover airplanes, has seen the crew run drills without any actual planes. Now playtime is over. It's time to get real.
We want airplanes on board because what we do is shoot and catch aircraft.
It's time for flight operations, better known as flight ops. These exercises will give the Reagan further levels of flight deck certification.
What I really do is enjoy the show.
Even the ship's commanding officer is on the edge of his seat, or should we say throne, for this performance.
The air boss up in primary flight control will have the task of trying to keep what we call the pattern full of airplanes so they can come around and get as many landings as they can. We'll land them, taxi them up to the catapult, launch them again, and we'll have 4 to 6 airplanes circling around in the landing configuration, coming around to land, and we'll be doing that all day long.
William T. Cooney is the main man running this reality check.
My job as air boss is just to make sure the safe and prompt execution of the airplane and getting aircraft on and off the carrier safely.
Cooney's right-hand man is Thomas Quinn.
The air officer or the air boss is in charge. I'm his #1 assistant. The assistant air officer, they call me the mini boss. So I'm really looking at cats 1 and 2. The air boss is taking care of cats 3 and 4 and the landings.
Cats are the Navy's term for catapults.
So the boss and I, our heads are on a swivel all the time, and you'll hear me over the 5MC yelling, and all I'm trying to do is make sure our young folks are focused because it's a dangerous place. And if they can stay focused, we'll get the job done.
These flight ops involve landing aircraft at the back of the ship, while others are being shot off the front. The only way to make sure everyone hits their cue is to have a stack of planes moving in and out of position in timed perfection. Lieutenant Dennis Mitchell is the guy who keeps everyone in line, which is especially challenging with a whole new crew on a whole new ship.
But right now, the hardest part is just getting everyone up to the speed that they need to be to get into that mission cruise status.
His primary tool for keeping his rather large and powerful ducks in a row is this. They call it the Ouija board.
It's a direct replica of the flight deck outside. Everywhere you see aircraft on the Ouija board is where they are out on the flight deck. And that tells the handler what the status of each aircraft is, what the location of each aircraft is.
While the handler keeps his thumb on the pulse of flight deck activity, the people who steer the Reagan must focus on the position of the ship itself.
Our airport is moving, so we also have to have very good coordination with the bridge team. These folks that you see behind me here, the officer of the deck, the conning officer, who are giving orders to the helmsman to make sure that we keep the wind in the proper aspect over the flight deck, and we keep the proper speed up to make sure that that wind is, the relative wind is a certain speed.
By taking off into the wind, the plane gets more lift, and the pilots get a rise of their own.
First time I got shot off, I screamed like a little girl, I won't lie to you. It was thrilling. You know, you go from 0 to, is it 120 in right around a second or two.
Best part of my job is a cat shot. You're not looking at anything else except you're looking long, you're looking at the water, you know you're going to go flying, you get yourself ready to go, they give you tension, you go full throttle, you know your engines spool up, and your jet has a nice little squat, you just get ready to go, and then the guy touches the deck, you roll your head back, you get your arms forward, and you get this incredible adrenaline rush right off the bat. It's from 0 to about 128 knots in literally 2.5 seconds, and it's just a kick butt time. It's fun. It's incredible. It's the best roller coaster ride in the world.
When it comes to landing on the Reagan, the pilots have a new challenge that comes along with this impressive new ship.
Ronald Reagan's unique in some effects that we have 3 arresting gear wire. All the other carriers have 4.
So what does one less wire really mean? For these pilots, apparently it's no big deal.
It's 3 wires, though. It's the same landing box, and you fly your approach exactly the same. You never stare at the wires when you come down. You're always looking at the optical lens.
When I come in, I'm looking at 2 needles that'll sit like this on my HSI. It's a screen I got in front of me. And my job as a pilot is to keep those needles dead center to within a gnat's ass. And plus or minus, looking for a glide slope, left to right, looking for lineup.
When a pilot keeps his plane locked onto those crosshairs, he effectively flies through a small window, like a strike zone for a baseball pitch. If they're in the zone, they nail the landing.
It can get very hairy, and it all happens within about 17 seconds as you show up at the start of the glide slope to when you touch down. So you got about that much time to figure it out and make sure your suitcase is right on center line.
You can practice as much as you want on an 8,000-foot runway, but there's no substitution for the real thing. Simulator or practice landing on a runway can't nearly duplicate what this is like. Nothing can.
As a part of this day's training exercises, a lot of the pilots are executing touch and goes.
Touch and go is when the hook's up and you don't stop. It's still a graded pass, much as a trap would be, same standards.
Sometimes what looks like a touch and go is actually a bad landing. They call this a bolt.
Bolter's when you miss all the wires and go around because you're too high, too fast, or you're just not on your game. A little bit embarrassing, sure, but everybody gets one now and then. Usually, when you get bolter, they hang a big bolt over your chair. We don't have the bolt with us, but I'm sure it'll be here shortly.
These flight exercises are not only about pilots brushing up on their skills. Everyone out here is having their stamina put to the test.
What they're going to do is just come out. We're going to fly non-stop from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon till about 2 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be 12 hours of straight flying.
As the sky darkens, the ship is barely lit. The Reagan's lights are kept to a minimum so enemies can't easily spot it. This has the added effect of forcing the pilots to fly blind.
You know, out there when you start at 10 miles, you don't even see this ship. You might see a light on the horizon in the water, but that's about all you see. You can't tell what it is or what you're driving at.
It is extremely dark. I don't think there's any place more dark than being at sea with no moon out, or underneath a cloud cover with a moon on top. And it makes it very, very challenging for a pilot when you have no horizon reference, when you're flying only off your instruments and the few lights that you have in front of you which outline the ship.
Over at the front of the ship is a place known as the bubble.
Man's out with a thumb, passing, boom, military power.
Here, the catapult operator keeps a low profile as he shoots plane after plane into the night sky.
In the throat. Don't take it, sir. Don't take it.
Shooting airplanes is a matter of balancing a litany of variables. The catapult operator must consider the weight of the aircraft, the density of the air, the headwind, and the movement of the ship through the water. Once everything is in place, he hits the button. When it's all said and done, this is what it's all about on an aircraft carrier. The Reagan was built to shoot and trap airplanes, and now, finally, it's certified to go into service.